This. And everyone, welcome to our very special edition. We are talking about summer planning, but before I dive in, I always love presenting you with you, Melissa. I feel like I learned so much in this and truly honored because I tell every family, I'm like, you know what? Everyone we work with is awesome, but Melissa is really one of those consultants there. If I have questions, often I'll go to you, You're a really awesome soundboard. So who are you? Tell us a little bit of something about yourself.
Awesome. Thank you, Dale. Good evening, everybody. We've got a very full house here with us tonight. I am Melissa Wood. I'm an Access College America College Consultant Director. Means I've been doing this for a hot second, okay, like 19 years. This is my 25th year in education, and okay, I'm just gonna say it. It is January 20th. Central Texas getting ready to have a big old cold snap this weekend, and we're talking summer. Yes, definitely talking summer. Warm things up, get those creative juices flowing tonight and moving into the future so that we can get those plans solidified and really be able to leave a mark, not just for ourselves, not just for resume building or activity list building, but because we truly want to have an investment and we want others to be able to invest in us. So that is one of the things that we love to talk about with Access College America, with my scholars, and we're finding ways for them to connect within the community and making and having those meaningful experiences over the summer that lead into the school year as well. So, welcome everybody. Super
Welcome.
glad to have you guys here.
Melissa is local. She's a licensed lead school counselor. You heard her right. Nearly 20 years of experience working in this profession. Former band director, by the way. She really covers all the bases. And last year, she was one of our employees of the quarter. So she is just top notch, and it's always a pleasure to co-present with her. We always learn a lot. My name is Dale Price. I'm the founder and CEO for Access College America. We're an Austin-based college planning group. We're one of the leaders in the community. We've been working with lots of these high schools for nearly 10 years now. And something a bit unique about us, we have a STEM specialty about us. Most of the families that are working with us, their teenagers are applying to the more competitive majors, those majors that lean heavy in science and math. So computer science, anything engineering, anything pre-med, biology, chemistry, business. But if your teenager really doesn't know what they want to do, that is completely normal. We get to work with a wide range of everybody. Access College America, we are recognized as a boutique, high touch point, low intake agency. We get to create custom curriculums for all of our scholars with top-notch managed services featuring action items, best in class essay prep services. Research projects and test prep can also be added on. We are thrilled to have you here today for a very important topic. We're going to discuss the status of college admissions, and I apologize before I move forward. We do have Kenzie with us. She's going to be managing the chat lines. I'm sure every single one of you guys that are here today live heard from her. So she'll be managing the chat lines. She'll also be dropping some of the resources that we'll be sharing also as well in the box. So you can definitely interact with her. And good news for those of you that are attending live, everything that is going to be in the chat box, Kinsey will be emailing with you guys as well afterwards. I want to go over just some of the highlights of what's taken place in college admissions. We'll go over some strategies, we'll go over resources, and I'll be taking your questions. But before we move forward, just wanted to let you guys know what is going on in the world of college admissions. I always like to start out with a little bit of what's happening. And there's really three main talking points I want to go over here. First, I want you all to know that colleges are really playing defense these days. They're not on the offense. Admission officers are really risk averse right now. They really care a lot about yield, a lot about retention, and students who look like they will actually enroll and graduate. Okay. Colleges and universities are competing with each other, all right? And they want to know if I give you one of these few precious seats, how do I know that you're actually going to graduate on time? So for the parents out there, your teenagers that are showing a clear academic direction, genuine interest, are also and are really are showing a commitment to the field of study they want to go into. They are beating those that are just trying to create resume bullet points. That is how they are beating the odds. So think about it like this way: wondering profiles are just getting waitlisted right now. The focused ones are getting offers. So early planning is going to be late perfection. The second thing I want to bring up is that this cycle is really punishing families who tend to kind of waiting to test, waiting to plan out their summers, waiting to build activities. By the junior spring, colleges are already forming opinions based off of your transcripts, based off of rigor trends. And they're looking at your activities and looking at your level of engagement. And a lot of the work is done by the time your teenager's going to apply to college. And the senior year can be crazy, super, super busy. So just realize for those freshmen, I know we've got eighth grade families here and freshman families, momentum really matters. It matters more than a last minute polish. That's important. And then finally, the being in the target, being in the middle, if you're looking at creating a college list, those target colleges, that tends to be a bit tricky. That's kind of a hard place to be. And the reason why I say this, the ultra competitive schools are just brutal. The true safeties are safe, understanding the distinction. But when we're looking at the middle range of some of these colleges, you're assuming, many of you, that those outcomes are going to be guaranteed, and they're not. There's a lot of curveballs happening right now. Students are being denied or waitlisted from colleges that they really expected that they were going to be automatic shoo-ins at. So the solution to all of this, smarter school lists, clear positioning, and really not relying on name recognition as a strategy. So, college admissions, it's no longer about being impressive. It's about being intentional with the decisions that you're making. If you submitted questions, we do have those questions, and we'll be going over those questions throughout the presentation. I know that we had a lot, but let's go ahead and move on down to kind of the
Dale,
first.
can you reiterate that intention piece? Can you just repeat that? Because I feel like that is a really important for this audience to hear. I know we have a question posted about how to stand out, and how to be, how to get noticed.
Yeah.
How do I get noticed? And I really loved what you just said about that intention. Can you reiterate that?
Yeah, and I'm glad, happy to. I want all the parents out here to know, and teens too. But this is not about college planning, is not about doing something that you think a university is going to like to see. We're not trying to create a puzzle here. And this is not a science. College admissions decisions are based holistically, independently, contextually. They're made behind closed doors. They have institutional priorities. To the families out there, to the teenagers out there, this is about being your true self and doing something that you really feel you're participating in the right clubs and organizations and taking the classes that are authentic to you. And so when we talk about not trying to impress an admissions officer, we want you as a teen to be intentional with the decisions you're making today. And let me tell you right now, if you want an admissions officer to really get thrilled, to get excited, to go to bat for you, if you're not part of, the majority or the shoe-ins, be honest in your application, be authentic, and let that shine. The world needs more people who are being honest and true to themselves, and you can do it. But this is not about trying to do what everybody else is doing. Don't compare yourself to your peers at all. So that's that. Now I'm gonna get off my soapbox, all right? So I want to go ahead and dive right in and to the one of the first topics that we have. Melissa, do you have the topic? And I'll let you go ahead and cover the first bullet point.
I do. So, we're going to discuss what actually counts as a meaningful summer experience. And truly, what do colleges mean when we're talking about meaningful versus a busy resume or a busy activity list? I know Brian from Bowie asked about how to tell the difference between meaningful science experiences and resume padding. Brian, you definitely asked the right question for our first discussion topic here. And so we're really looking for the ways that you are connecting the depth of your level of commitment within that summer activity or within any activity that you're involved in, right? We're looking at the depth of your participation. Does that lead into other opportunities versus I'm doing volunteer hours, I'm checking a box? Are you truly invested in that activity, or are you just checking the box because you need hours? You need to have that volunteer line, that community service line on your resume or within your activities. How are you making those more meaningful? Because I'll tell you what, admissions officers, they see all of these all day, every day, and they're able to see, oh, well, this one was just a participant or a member. They didn't really do, they weren't active. And then if we're just creating a laundry list of things to do over the summer, that's not really as meaningful as the depth that you can provide within one activity. Dedicate yourself to one activity. And you got to figure it out first. Is that the right fit for me? And if it isn't, that's okay. We've got more opportunities to dive in and still capitalize on summers.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a few red flags that admissions officers see when they're looking at these summer planning activities. I mean, you got to be honest, there's a lot of resume padding happening. I mean, if the activity really is only on your resume because someone told the student that this is going to look good, they have 5 unrelated programs in 8 weeks. That says the student must have panicked. They freaked out that they
Mm.
did this not because it was purposeful, but because they found a whole bunch of things and thought, okay, this is going to look good on my application. That's when we talk about depth. Depth is going to be whiplash every single day. Another one, and this came up before, the pay to play programs. Pay to play programs, I don't have a problem with all of them. I have a problem with those that have no output. These are expensive summer programs with zero tangibles, which is a red flag. So if the student can't really explain what they built, what they researched, what they solved, what they created, then admissions is going to assume that, the check really just kind of did the heavy lifting. All right. Another one is this happens a lot with teenagers, title inflation, founder, CEO, director. But of what? Did you create an organization? Like, did you actually create it? Is it formed? Do you have an LLC? Did you go, are there articles of incorporation with this, or did you just kind of create something, put it on a resume, and nothing ever happened there, right? I mean, nothing is, did you create an organization that does nothing beyond really just having that Instagram page? That's not really going to be leadership here. It is branding cosplay, is what I like to say a lot of times. Finally, another red flag to admissions officers is when that activity has nothing, no connection to the major that you're wanting to apply to. Students are applying for engineering and summer full of generic volunteering is just going to raise an eyebrow. Service is great, don't get me wrong. It is absolutely awesome, and everybody needs to be doing some level of service, but irrelevance is not going to be. So admissions is looking for alignment. They're not looking for randomness. And that's the big theme of this presentation is about being intentional. Definitely. Okay, we've got some questions that have been asked by us. Melissa, do you want to go in and take one? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry. Kirsten, thank you for submitting your question about how does a college know about my child before she applies? Well, this is also part of the summer exploration is getting on the college campuses, making those connections with admissions officers, signing up for in-person college visits, not just going randomly, walking the campus, but actually doing an official visit on campus. Reaching out to the admissions folks saying, hey, I was on campus. Sorry we didn't connect. But I'm here. I'm really interested in X university. What else can you tell me? Are there other opportunities that are available for me to get connected with the university? So to be honest, that's how they're going to know about your child before they even apply. Plus, if they are reaching out when the admissions folks are on campus, shaking the hands, making their face and their name known, that's another way for them to connect. The more times that you can shake somebody's hand on your high school campus or at an in-person campus tour, it's part of a metric. It's called demonstrating interest. And we say fit to major for course selections and summer activities. You've got that demonstrated interest not only in the major, but in the university itself. And that is how they know who your child is before application season even starts. We have another one about trying to decide what to focus on over the summer. So I know we're going to hit this here in a little bit, but I'm a real big. So we've got one here on sports and on music. How do we decide what to do or what to focus on in the summers? You're automatically going to have some things that will be connected with your high school in as it pertains to both of those areas. But could you offer music lessons to the kids in the community? Like teach them, like what does music actually look like? Could you do a mini sports camp with some other teammates to be able to offer that? I'll tell you your biggest like bang for your buck. Your biggest bang for your buck are your community activity. Like if you have a homeowners association, getting that message out, youth groups, church groups. It is a captive audience right there. And who doesn't like sending their kid to a camp, a little, to another opportunity to be able to do some programming for computer science or how to build using Legos to build something for robotics. Okay. When there is a high schooler who invests in the little, I call them the littles, like your elementary students, and is teaching them something about what they're passionate about and gaining the interest of these students. What a great way to demonstrate your leadership and your own passion for that subject area. You create your own opportunities. You be your own boss. You set those leadership opportunities for yourself. I know I answered two.
I can take the
So
next. I can take the next one. All right. And I love that we got this question answered. Gayatri, I did get your question just before, and I promised Kinsey that I was going to answer it. Five things that, active that students and parents should really focus on in between the summers, sophomore to junior year. And you guys, let me just be honest with y'all. First of all, you don't have to do anything crazy, right? The reason why we're talking about summer planning, though, is because, especially if you're targeting the more selective type school, University of Texas, even Texas A&M, anything with a holistic review. And for those of y'all that are automatically admitted into A&M, you're really making a case to get admitted into the honors program by doing stuff like this. Your summers are going to be scrutinized. Admissions officers are expecting the learning continues into the summers. And so that is the purpose of doing this. So don't just assume that because you're auto admit, you don't really need to do anything over the summer. You're looking for scholarships, right? You're looking to get admitted into that awesome honors college, right? But five activities, just real brief in a nutshell. There needs to be some kind of an academic signal. building here. The summer is about proving readiness for harder coursework. And so, maybe you are staying engaged with math or science. This is the moment to, take one of those classes, dual credit if necessary. So look at the academic plan without seeing your transcripts. Hard for me to advise here, but are you in the right sequence to get to that advanced level math? If you're applying to go into a STEM major, math and science all day. So maybe you need to do something over the summer to get ahead there. Also, career exploration that goes beyond I think I like. This is not about picking a forever job right now, but it's about narrowing down, from everything to serious lanes, high impact outcomes here. Job shadowing, informational interviews, hands-on programs tied to real world fields like engineering or business or health. I also like to say the third thing I would say here is one meaningful, really time intensive experience. That depth is going to beat volume every single time. So look at, a research project with a real output or an internship with some level of responsibility. That's going to be important. Number four, I would say leadership, leadership, leadership. This is really that pivot point from being a participant to a leader. It does not have to be president of everything. It does have to show initiative. So maybe you're taking over like something logistical, or maybe you're doing some training or, mentoring even younger students, you guys. I mean, let's be honest. One thing COVID taught us is that the students that were getting admitted into really selective schools, they were creating opportunities inside their house. They were taking on additional roles and responsibilities. That's demonstrating leadership. So, and last but not least, looking at the junior year, this is going to be where you want to set up that timeline. You want to have that academic plan. You want to have that test plan mapped out. You want to go into the fall with an idea of colleges you're going to tour. The junior year is the year of formal college prep, right? So go and stay on the offense. Go into the junior year, have that year mapped out and be ready to go. So those would be my 5 pros. Anything you want to add, Melissa, or did I basically cover the presentation? Are we done? Can we go on?
Yeah, we're good. I love how you brought up the informational interviews because pro tip, pro tip, pro tip. You have friends, parents, you guys have friends that your student may be interested in their profession. I ha Set them up 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Just have them ask, where did you go to school? How did you become interested in this field? And my best question that I love to wrap it up with is, what advice would you give your 15, 16, 17-year-old self? Now that you've lived through the college admissions process, now that you've lived through an undergraduate, a graduate degree, what would you tell your 15, 16, 17-year-old self? What advice would you give? And what usually leads out of those informational interviews is a job shadow day. What best way to get your foot in the door for not just a day, but maybe a week, an internship? So, all of these things lead into more meaningful opportunities, leadership opportunities, and ways for you to bring back. We said teaching the littles. Dale mentioned it, I mentioned it, coming up with ways to incorporate that, right? We know that math skills fall off over the summer. Hmm, let's do a basic math class. What better way to keep those younger students engaged in school and not just in video games? Okay, we can do some video games, but not all the time. Let's put something educational in there. And that's part of you, right? That's also demonstrating your level of commitment to your community and also importing that leadership piece as well.
Definitely. I'm curious. I like to give shout outs in the chat box. Let me know what grade are you? What high school are you in? And also maybe what is the major you're interested in? And if you don't know, just say, unsure. But I'm wondering how many folks from LASA we have here, how many Westlake families we have here. Lake Travis, are you in the house? So put in the chat box. Let me know, what high school are you at? What are you interested in studying? And that sort of thing. And moving on down, a lot of families want to know how early is too early. Like, when do I need to even start with the summer prep? When I went to college, I never had to do any of this, by the way. I didn't have to do anything. Like, my summers, I was hanging out of the pool. I was living my best life. I didn't have to worry about none of this, right? But I mean, it's different now. So, Melissa, when do you think that teenagers need to get kind of serious about what am I going to do this summer?
Well, right now is a good time. And I know we have some eighth graders, we have some ninth graders here. Right now, it's really about exploration. You don't really know what you want to do, what you want to be when you grow up. Are you doing those career interest inventories that you have accessible to you to kind of figure out, am I a hands-on learner? Am I a cubicle learner? Do I just want to work independently? What types of projects would I be interested in working on? And for eighth and ninth grade, right now is the perfect opportunity for you to do that career exploration piece, career exploration, and let's find community service opportunities available to you that are pretty close. Because guess what? You can't drive yet. Mom and dad are going to have to be the ones to help like get you from point A to point B. So let's find something that's pretty close by. When we go into 10th and 11th grade, we should now have a good idea as far as what we want to major in, what we want to focus on, whether we're going engineering, computer science. Guess what? They're both math and science heavy. So let's find an opportunity. I see here we have questions about part-time jobs and how can we do that? And how do we find those summer specific programs for a STEM major, right? Or something that's in the STEM industry. Well, there are, you can Google, you can chat GPT it. We've got some resources as well. We're going to be giving out some of those here at the end. But, having a part-time job, that's going to demonstrate your level of commitment, your level of dedication. And it doesn't have to be specific to your major. Okay. It doesn't have to be. It is actually doing something over the summer. That part-time job can lead into the school year as well. And then you're going to have to balance your academics, your academic rigor, and any other clubs or organizations or activities that you are participating in through your school, all while maintaining your GPA, your grades, and your job. So, I really love the opportunities and looking at the different options for each grade level. But mom and dad, please do not push your eighth or ninth grader to go all in and do everything this summer.
No, please don't.
One thing, and it may be taking a class over the summer so that they can take that more advanced math next school year. Maybe that is their one thing. And then let's find something a bit more meaningful that we can develop that leadership or their level of interest in.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it's not about the quantity of the activities, it's about the quality of the activity, really. And the currency in admissions is time. How long have you spent in this? Now, in terms of when that clock starts ticking, when do we need to start looking at things like this? Melissa said now, she's right. So we are meeting with our members of the class of 2030. That's eighth graders, everybody. And aside from just helping them register for high school, do the academic sequence for high school, what are they going to do this summer? And I always say this, your application for college does not start August the 1st going into the senior year. It starts day one. You walk into the halls of that freshman year. So everything is fair game, everybody. Your grades, the rigor of the courses, your class rank, clubs, organizations, all of that. What better way to create momentum than with these rising freshmen going into their first year of high school, going ahead and diving into something meaningful now. So with our eighth grade families, we are starting to look at what can we do this summer. Wow, I'm love to see so many folks here that are that are responding. So Karen, shout out to those families at Anderson, and we've got Sunit at Lhasa interested in business. All right, so Neat, my question to you is when we talk about business, that's interdisciplinary. Are you wanting to go into finance, accounting, marketing, supply chain, entrepreneurship? Start thinking about that because you're going to want to be demonstrating intentionality behind the field of research you want to go into. That's awesome. Sangeeta's got a freshman with us. Perfect. You are at the right place at the right time. And we've also got Emily here, a freshman at LASA. How do we find a job shadow and internships? Great question, Melissa. How do you recommend a freshman find job shadowing and internships? I have one guess. I have one way. I'll let you answer it, and then and you're probably going to say the same thing I'm going to say, but yeah, I'll let you take the first stab at it.
Well, okay, here's a big one. So, one, you can utilize your school resources. If you're involved in DECA, HOSA, FCCLA, FBLA, any of your organizations on campus, your sponsors have connections with industry-based individuals. They're the ones who come and do judging for you guys when it comes to competitions. What better way to use those resources? Your sponsor is going to have those connections. I already mentioned it once, but guess what? Your parents know people who may have additional job shadow and internship opportunities. Your friends have parents who are also involved in industry-based, organizations. And so my biggest thing is your net worth
I knew you were going to
is
say
only
it.
as big as your network. And
I knew you were
I
going to say it. That's why I
truly,
was like, she's going to say it. I was
I am.
like,
Only because I truly believe in it. You know two people, they know two people, they know two people. And what better way to make those connections, those real intentional connections? I'll tell you, it's real hard for an adult to say no to a student who is asking about them. Tell me about you. Tell me about your story. Rarely do they say no. I don't have time for you.
yeah,
Okay. It's real hard for them to say no to your face.
yeah,
So make that connection because your net worth is only as big as your network. And that is how you get jobs. That's how you get those internships, is because you knew somebody who knew you and your level of work and commitment. So there
definitely.
you go.
Start, teenagers need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Ask. Just ask. Ask the people around you. Start with your inner circle. That person may know somebody, and just start going down that pathway. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's a good place to be. That's a very good place to be. Kay is
And it's an automatic no if you never ask the question. It's an automatic no because you didn't take a risk, you didn't take a chance. So it's a no.
yeah,
So
definitely.
ask.
Kay is here, who has a freshman at LASA. We have another 10th grader, LASA pre-med, biotech. Definitely love the major. Heather, LASA family here, current 10th grader. Westlake Go Sheps with Kirsten, who's got a junior. Fun fact, if you are here from LASA, Westlake, or Westwood, we have a junior writing workshop that's going to be happening on your campus. I'll talk about that here in a moment. But Manuel has a sophomore who is a swimmer, a high performance swimmer at Round Rock. And so far, he's interested in civil, structural, architectural engineering. We got a builder on our hands. We have somebody who wants to fix things, which is great. Kirsten's junior is interested in bio as well. So lots of great things. Karen says speech therapy. Awesome.
Mm.
Nicola, Cedar Park High School junior here, no idea what they want to study. What do you say to that? I mean, we're seeing a lot of folks on here that want STEM, biology, business, computer science. And then what if I'm a junior? I don't know what I want to do. I mean, that can be a scary place to be. Is that normal? Do I need to panic? Applications are coming up. How do I even pick a major? I know that this is supposed to be summer prep, but I have a feeling we've got families on here with teenagers that may be feeling a bit lost and confused. How do I know what to do for the summer?
Absolutely. So if I don't know what I want to do or what I want to be when I grow up, what electives are you currently taking in school? There has to be a connection with some of the elective choices that you have made in school. Are you passionate about any of those? Have you made a connection with a teacher or maybe with a project that you have completed in class? That can lead to a major area of interest. Like I've worked with all students. Dale mentioned that I was a former band director. I work with kids who are in the arts. I've worked with students who are wanting to go physical therapy, occupational therapy, all the way to engineering, having students being accepted to Dartmouth for public policy, like you name it, we work with those students. And I will tell you, my public policy kid walked in day one, really didn't know what she wanted to major in.
Mhm.
Didn't know what she wanted to major in, but we looked at her electives. We looked at her strengths, and that is how we got her that major. And she was like, I don't think so, Melissa. And I said, well, let's look at it. What are you strong at? What do you spend the most time doing on campus? Where do you spend the most of your time outside of school? And that's where we got it. It was a hook, and she took it and ran with it, and it was the best decision for her. So we've got to look at those elective choices and where are you spending the most amount of your time, both in and outside of school. It's kind of how we figure it out. It's a formula. We figure it out, but we also do those interest inventories as well. So my little Cedar Parkians out there, I know you guys in Leander use Naviance. It's a big thing with you guys. So please get into that Naviance platform. Those of you others who utilize Naviance, go in and look at the careers tab and do some of those interest inventories to figure it out. Let's see. They're going to start with the careers that we do backwards design. What's that career, that major that fits with that? And then what are those colleges that are going to offer those majors for you?
Yep. Now, Karen sent a question about, a student having a hard time finding opportunities, interested in medicine, but, because of HIPAA and because of age restrictions, maybe they struggle to find something to do during the summer. And what would we suggest? And I would tell any teenager out there who wants to be pre-med, wants to go into medicine, yes, it can be a little tricky because of, HIPAA and age restrictions. But you know what? You can go create a home-based project. You can do research without patients. That's an easy workaround, do data analysis project using public health data sets, do some medical ethics research, look at health disparities or policy focus projects. You can also volunteer a little bit, physical therapy clinics, sports medicine offices, dental offices, observing those procedures. These are all the different types of things you can do that don't, where you're not actually having to be in surgery specifically. Optometry offices, chiropractic offices, pediatrician offices tend to be a little bit more open with things like that. Shadowing, yes, you can do the shadowing, but keep in mind if you are doing that, it's all about the reflection, meaning, what are you writing down that you can remember later? And this is going to be used in the essays, by the way. That's going to be very, very important. But there's a lot of public health, a lot of community-based help, working in a food bank, spending time on the ground with the public. That is always a for sure if you're wanting to go into medicine. So working with those health education programs, vaccination outreach, non-clinical role, everybody, creating a nutrition and wellness campaign in your community. Definitely awesome things to do. But we get a lot of times that a lot of folks tend to hit kind of like a dead end when they're wanting to go into medicine and they can't figure out what to do because of age restrictions or HIPAA, things like that. There's ways to get around that, definitely. Melissa, another thing I want to move on down to the next topic. where to find opportunities that maybe I can't find on Google. I feel like a lot of families look up Austin-based internships for business and a teenager, or Austin-based, volunteering opportunities for teenage. Like there seems to be the same search that everyone types in. If I'm a parent, how do I narrow this down? How do I find things to do?
So, yes, you can do the Google search, you can do the Chat GPT search, plugging things in. But, to be honest, is when you are Googling those searches, be very specific. Ask about the age restriction. I have a 16-year-old high school student. What what opportunities are available for high school students, 16-year-olds in medicine or in business, and where can we make those connections? The biggest thing too, when we're looking here in Central Texas in the Austin area, as far as like computer science, let's think about some of these things or engineering. Like I'm gonna put those two together as far as being able to shadow some engineers. Maybe we are using what we have used in school. Those projects, are we continuing to develop and refine those projects as far as a summer opportunity with computer science? Are we doing some hackathons? Are we developing coding lessons for younger students? Are you able to provide your own camp for younger students and generate their own passion for that area? For business, I know I've said it a couple of times as far as looking at our small business owners going in. Like I said, it takes a lot for somebody to say no, but it's an automatic no if you never ask or open the door and shake the hand. But libraries, your clinics, your medical clinics, they're all looking for promotional materials. So if you're going into marketing, business analysis, data analysis, what a great way to, like I said, put your stamp on that and showcase your talents. For those pre-med students out there, we do have here in the Austin and Central Texas area, if you are Googling like St. David's, volunteering at St. David's or Ascension Seton, or even Texas Children's, both in Austin proper or in the North Austin area, they do have volunteer opportunities that you can sign up for. And whether it's age restriction or grade restriction, you do have to read those and pay attention to the fine print. But the other place that you could also go is to your clinics, your urgent cares, the small Baylor Scott and Whites that are around town here in the Austin, Georgetown, Round Rock area. I've had students who walked in the door, they went from being a front office, front desk of checking patients in to being able to go in, being trained to take vital signs and entering that information. So they've gone from front desk to now back in the exam rooms. And so it's all about opportunity. Seize the opportunity and get out there. Get out there and ask the questions.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable. And this should be team driven. This is about the teenager stepping out of their comfort zone. Monica, I saw your name on the list. I remember you obviously, you and Priyanshu. So, and I will definitely let Shayla know that you guys are here. That's always awesome. I have a feeling we have a lot of the folks that we work with that are actually attending today's presentation. And so a couple of things to keep in mind for the families that are actively working with us. We have a workshop coming up this Sunday. It is on the summer planning, and it's where we're actually going to be reviewing local opportunities for you as well. So for the families that are working with us, this is going to be part of our master class series this Sunday at 2 o'clock, everybody. Your teenager should be in this workshop. This is going to be a 1.5 hour hands-on intensive in which you would be doing a deep dive into local opportunities, learning what's open, but also how to find those opportunities that are going to be most meaningful. And then juniors, listen, if you are a junior here, every single one of y'all, if it's been approved by your coach, should be in the main essay workshop. we are starting our main essay prep services now. And so if you are a junior with us, now is the time to read competitive essays, read weak essays, and start having thoughtful conversations about your topic, your theme, and your outline. So this Sunday is a huge day of workshops for us. We have one on summer planning, and then we have one on the main essay. And I just wanted to give a courtesy reminder out there to the folks that are working with us that all of this is going to be happening. Okay, lots of
Don't
great.
forget your Lhasa Westwood Westlake
Yes.
plug.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so and before I forget to, absolutely, thanks for the reminder on that. Here we go. So if you are at Westlake, those of you at Westlake, college admission main essay workshop, this is totally free. It's going to be on Wednesday, February the 25th at 1:30. This is going to be a free 1.5 hour hands-on intensive. You will know what you're going to write for your main essay after you attend this workshop. You do need to register. I don't know if there's space limitations or not, but it is in the school library. So, excuse me, make sure that you do register for that. And then if you are at Westwood, thanks to the Westwood PTSA, they are bringing us in on Saturday, February the 14th, 10 a.m. So, all juniors, if you're a junior, get a jump start on your main essay. This will be in the great room, the school library. That's the room that we normally present at. So, Warrior Nation, write that date down. You should have an email that's coming through to register for that workshop, Saturday, February the 14th. And then last but obviously not least, my Lhasa family. You guys, Tuesday, February the 17th, we're going to be on campus, 2 hour hands-on intensive for the main essay workshop. So go ahead, grab those spots. These are free workshops. I'll go ahead and tell you right now, we normally do not do this. These workshops are opportunities that our families get to participate in, but this is our way of giving back. There's a lot of juniors that are ready to go ahead and dive in to the writing. Go do a free writing workshop and knock this out of the park and start working on your main essay by spring break. There's a reason why we're doing this now. So definitely. I did launch a poll also, so make sure the polls are open. So we're going to be reading these polls in a minute. Actually, we can go ahead and tackle them now. Summer programs that cost a lot usually provide the most rigor. One person got it wrong, thank goodness. 9 people got it right. Melissa, any thoughts?
Make sure that Dale has mentioned it a number of times tonight. What can you c- come away with? What research have you done? What project did you develop? What marketing schematic did you come away with? What are those tangibles that you will be able to discuss and share out, not just in your resume or your activity list, but also in your short answer and your supplemental questions? How are you making that connection with that actual summer activity?
Number two.
Um,
Number two.
yeah, so planning a meaningful summer usually starts in May. Well, you guys are here tonight, so you know that we are starting this planning now. So one person answered that on the true side. Everybody else, you guys got that one spot on. As far as where are you in planning for a meaningful summer for you or your teen? It looks like the vast majority of you are looking at a couple of options, but you're still kind of up in the air, right? Continue to look at those options and don't just apply for one opportunity. Apply to multiples because then it's better to have those options available. Some may be for the beginning of the summer, some may be for the end of the summer, and that way you have more options to have available to you. Those of you who are overwhelmed and don't really know where to start, you came to the right place tonight. We hope that we were able to give you some key tips and tricks as far as what to do, as far as get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and that your net worth is only as great as your network. And so use the people, use the resources around you. Um, which aspect of a meaningful summer is most important? Volunteering, having a summer job, work-based learning internships, activities that point towards that college major. All of these are great opportunities. So if you can't find one, you're not looking. So let's take that opportunity now. Those summer options, they're available right now. A lot of applications are open now in January. They'll be closing in March, April. Those decisions will be coming out as far as any type of summer camp or summer learning opportunity. But those businesses, they're open right now. And so, a great way for you to get started is, hey, I'm here over spring break. I'm able to jump in now. Perfect time. Perfect timing.
There is somebody that I want to go ahead and bring on to because I'm sure everybody here has probably heard from this person. So Kinsey Henderson is our Director of Admission. Kinsey, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, hi, I'm Kinsey, the Director of Admissions and Outreach here at ACA. I work closely with families and will be your go-to person moving forward. So if you get a call or a text or an email, it's probably me. I'm really excited to connect with y'all. I hope that you guys have a great night.
Yeah, and Kinsey will be taking the notes that we have in the chat box and following up with the families. And for those of you that did say yes, you do want to book a discovery call, you'll definitely hear from her. Before we wrap up, there's really four main reasons why families do turn to us for guidance with college planning. First, we're local. We're in Austin. We're deeply rooted in the high schools. I think I did recognize every single school here. So everywhere from Cedar Park to Lhasa, Westlake, and so forth. So that's important. I mean, Austin has some really competitive schools, and you want to work with somebody that actually knows the grading scale, knows the local opportunities, that's for sure. Secondly, we do have a STEM specialty about us. So while we do get to work with people of all backgrounds, if your teenager is going to apply to a competitive, hyper competitive major, heavy in math or science, that's our jam. We do those day in and day out. Also, we have best in class essay prep services. I like to say, I believe it, our essay prep services, there is no other match. We are starting now with our juniors. The essays are the hardest piece of the application, and your teenagers deserve to take their time. So we have writing intensives, writing workshops. We have an essay specialist as well that your teenager would work with, and it's unlimited. So they get to work on their topic, their outline, their theme, and best of all, they're going to work with Melissa if that is your coach, and she will approve everything before it's submitted or not approve everything before it's submitted. And we have great add-ons like research projects. So a lot of what our teams are doing right now for the summer is registering for the research project, where they're going to work in a small group of around 6 other students, and they will have an outcome, a research paper, a case analysis, data set. They'll have some type of a presentation that they can point back to in their essays. And we like to start those research projects early, freshman, sophomore year. Another add-on is test prep. We've partnered with More Than a Teacher, and you can add unlimited test prep to your package. Typically, we like our sophomores to schedule test prep services for the summer. They start in the summer. So those are a few of the really awesome opportunities that we have within the agency. I want to show you guys a few other resources, though, that we do have too. Starting with what are we doing next? Our next presentation is actually going to be updates with applying to the University of Texas, and that's going to be next Wednesday. So we have updates and stats, numbers, there's movement happening with UT. What do you need to know? Same thing with A&M. If you are a class member 2027, 28, 29, don't miss this. We need to let you know what are we hearing. Everyone is going to have essays to work on. So Melissa and I will be co-presenting together on the college admission essays, and we'll discuss the main essay, the short answer question, and research as well. Another great one is going to be on how to create a leadership project. Maybe you're looking for a DIY based opportunity. Hey, that's free, low cost, right? How do you build that? What do you need to do? What are the guardrails you need to have in place before you just kind of jump in there and do something? that may not make a lot of sense. So we'll be presenting on that. So in the chat box, Kenzie will put the link for this as well. Now, many of you may be wondering, what does it take to work with you guys? Well, we are a high touch point boutique white glove agency. You can schedule your discovery call online, and your teenager must be present for the discovery call. We do not meet unless the teenager is present, which pretty much means you'll be meeting with me at night or on a weekend sometime, as you can see. So, but the way that our services typically work is our scholars will meet with their college consultant for 45-minute strategy sessions. And every time they meet with their coach, there'll be action items created. Now, this is a very bespoke experience. It's a very custom curriculum with a timeline that has benchmarks in place. And working with somebody like Melissa, they're going to hold your teenager accountable. There'll be structure in place, and action items include things like career exploration, identifying your major, activity building, mapping out that summer. A big one right now is the academic plan. We're looking at the sequence of your classes as well, how to research colleges. We like all of our scholars. We help them to curate a balanced college list. The list can be unlimited. We recommend 6 to 8 schools, and we work with them on that research. In addition, they're attending our masterclass series, small virtual group workshops, hands-on intensives. This will enhance the one-on-one coaching. They're also meeting with their essay specialist. And if they start now, all seniors are done by September the 1st. Everyone gets to enjoy their senior year. And last but not least, 4 things we do in the fall of the senior year: applications for scholarships, applications for honors colleges, helping out with those housing applications, and then the financial disclosures. You don't have to do this all alone. If you're curious about being on our winning team, go book your discovery call. Kenzie will follow up. Melissa, any final words?
You guys, thank you for being here tonight. This was a great audience. One of the bigger audiences that we've had for our webinars, and you guys gave us some really good questions. Hopefully, you're able to walk away with 1 or 2 nuggets from tonight's presentation. Hope to see you at our next ones coming up. Y'all take care. Have a good one.
All right, everyone, have a nice night, and we'll be sharing the recording with you as well. Bye-bye.